Hi, I'm Joy Norris with Samar School of Music and Arts, and recently we were with this really fun group doing a virtual vocal session. And today in this video, what we would like to do is to share some of the topics that we discussed by showing you some clips of some things that we did. So we hope that you enjoy this, we hope that it benefits you greatly, and let's do it! I always run out of air because I'm just kind of not really trying to control the amount of air. This is like to try to work on my range and to try to work on the brakes, you know. So if you run out of air, then just stop where you are, take a breath, and then start the same place and come on down. Okay, so let's try it one more time. Here we go. Ready? Breathe good in. All right, awesome. I like these because it really helps us to focus the tone up in the front of our face, and we'll talk about that tonight, resonance. But if you can't do either of those very comfortably, just do ah, okay? And remember, it doesn't have to be on a pitch, so you don't have to match the pitch. All right, singers like a lot to match the pitches, okay? On this exercise, you don't have to worry about the pitch. Just as low as you can to as high as you can. And remember, another thing is, don't go, okay, like, take it slow, like, all the way up, and then take a breath and go, take your time is the object. All right, so now let's do ah. Ready? Here we go. Take a big breath and go, ah. And now, and let's do it on ooh. Let's go ooh. Ready? Ooh. But I want to talk a little bit about resonance. How many of us have heard about resonance before? Ah. Okay, well, let's just review. Okay, so resonance, somebody tell me what resonance is. Joy did good, didn't she? If you heard it from Joy, you really got it. That's right. Okay. Resonance is just that buzz. Yes, it's that buzz that's in your voice. You know, that that nice, big, thick buzz in your voice. A lot of times it's the kind of where you place the tone, all right? Because you can have this, that's not resonant. That's like placed right back here. So anytime that you feel the resonance or you feel a kind of a buzz or a tingling in the front of your face, that's where that resonance wants to be, in the front of your face. And so the way we do that, you know, is, so everybody hum for me, just So you feel the buzz. You feel the buzz around your mouth and your face, in your eyes, your lips, your nose. You feel that buzz. That's what resonance is. Okay, and so I like to do exercises that helps that resonance, because that's where you want to place your tone, is in the front of your face. And so if you've heard me talk about it before, then this is just review. But it's so important that we do that, because the tone of the sound of your voice, or the tone, or your timbre, as you know, as sometimes we call it, has a lot to do with where you focus the tone. All right. So let's do this little exercise right here. Let's go. Let's start right here, and let's go. So listen once, and then you'll start it after me because of how the delay is. Okay, so I want you to go. Ready? Sing it. Good, and we're going to go down. Okay, again, this will go. Now do it. Yeah, and make sure that you're going, is right there, not, You hear the difference in that? Okay, it's like, so what you want to do is you want to open up the big part of your, the back part of your throat, okay? And not go, because then your mouth is closed. So open up like you kind of, like you have an egg in your mouth. Do that for me. Timbre is not your range. Timbre is the sound of your voice, okay? So then, like sopranos would mostly have like a bright timbre, okay? Like a nice thin bright timbre, whereas most of the time, altos would have like a nice thick timbre, okay? Well, so all of us don't have the same timbre, but we want to sound the same when we're singing in a group. All right, so the way we do that is we shape our mouth the same and we try to blend. And when we shape our mouth the same, then that one voice, which I like to call it, makes our group sound like one. All right, I know that you've heard, and I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself, but this is kind of the way, that right there, what you just did, I just want you to understand how critical and important that is as a singing with a group, in a group, I mean. Because you've heard groups, and mostly it's choirs, because when it's a small group, you can pretty much understand the words, okay? But you've heard of big choirs, and they like sound amazing. The song is great, the rhythm's good, you know, everything's sounding good, but you don't have a clue what they're saying. It's like, you know, maybe if I understood the words, it would be really good. Maybe instead of just making one lap around the church, I would make 2 laps around the church if I knew exactly what they were saying. Okay, but the reason for that is we're all saying our words the same. I mean, differently. Okay, so sister over here don't feel like she wants to open her mouth, so she's going to sing really closed mouth. And sister over here is used to singing in the high school choir, and she's going to sing operatic. And so she's going to shape her mouth real round. Okay, it's not about, you know, styles necessarily here, which that has some stuff to do with it as well. And then there's another sister here who just loves black gospel, and she's going to give that nice gospel sound. And then there's a young person over here that likes the contemporary, and they're going to keep their mouth closed because they want it to sound contemporary, you know. So it's like, but when we all sing together and we sound the same, then everybody can understand the words that we're saying. And it's kind of like the important thing about understanding what we're saying is the lyrics really is the message of the song, right? He started preaching and he'd say, all right, tonight we're going to talk about salvation. So I want you to turn to Acts 2:38, and if you don't know this verse, this is what this verse says. It says, then Peter's baptized. It's like, if you didn't know that verse, you would have no idea what he was saying, right? Okay, well, when we sing, we're preaching the word at that moment. Okay, we're ministering. The lyrics of the song is what is being brought forth at that moment. So if they don't understand our words, then they're not going to get what the message of that song is. Just like you wouldn't get the message of what the pastor is preaching if he didn't open his mouth and speak the words clearly. Right? All right. So that was lesson 3 of our group lesson, and lesson 2. But we'll get it again, because to me that's one of the most important things about singing with a group is how we sing together and shape our mouths together. Okay, so let's go back and let's go get that egg in your mouth and go. We're going to do this. We're going to go. Ready? Okay, and now let's go up here. Okay, and now let's go right here. Good. Okay, and let's go back down. Okay, now the thing about this, besides the okay, we got that feeling, but I want you to go, okay? So the other thing that I like about this exercise right here, besides it, you don't have to make it sound pretty. If you just sing on the pitches, that would be nice, okay? But you place it right here, and it's real nasally, okay? And the other thing I like about it is you got to look really ugly to do it, and it's okay. Yes, you have full permission to look really, really ugly. And if you don't really look ugly, then I'm going to preach a message about pride. You got to lose that pride, right? Yes, we can't have that pride. All right. Here we go. So we're going to go. Listen once again. The uglier it is, the uglier you are, the better. Okay? All right. Here we go. Ready? Oh, now some of you are doing so good, you've lost all your pride. But there's one or two that haven't lost it yet. We're going to have an altar call at the end of the sermon. All right, here we go. One more time. Ready? Going up. Good. The exercise is really great if you're singing a song that's kind of above your chest register and you want it to sound louder. So like if you're singing, so this would be the difference in the placement. Okay, or hear the difference? Okay, like, and I didn't really change the volume so much. I changed the place. All right, so when we sing up here, and we'll do this more when it's one-on-one, okay, because it'll be probably a little bit easier than right now. But sopranos, let's go. All of us, let's do this, okay? Because altos, sometimes you have to go up to a place where a note might be higher than you're really wanting to go. Because if we would, I don't know why I'm saying this, but let me just say this. Sometimes groups will say, oh, and this is mostly tenors, okay, but they go, oh, that is just too high. I can't sing it. It's just too high. You know, sorry, it's not about this tenor. It's just in general. It's just too high. And some altos will go that, though. It's just too high. Some sopranos will go, it's just too high. You got to lower that key so I can do it. But if we sang every song in every key that was comfortable, we would not get better. Right? So that's the reason that we exercise our voice. That's the reason we do vocal exercises. That's the reason we do what we do. And that's the reason we're here together right now, is so that we can get better and so that our range will expand, right? Okay, all right, so ready now. Yeah, that's right. Ha, 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 ha. Again. Good. And we're going to go up here. Ready? Ha. Good. Let's do one more. Good. Okay, and one more. Yes, good. Okay, and again. One more. Yes. Okay, and then one more. Y'all, that's sounding good. All right, one more. Yeah, so some of us are going to go in our head here, all right? So make sure we got it focused in the front. Ready? Awesome. Come back down. Bounce your tummy. Bounce your tummy. Breathe out. Good. Good. Again. Down. Make sure you go ha, 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 and not ha, 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 ha. So put that H in the middle of it. Let's go. Let's come down here. Here we go. There you go. And down one more. And down. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome, awesome. All right, have a seat. Let me just talk about increasing our range. Just real quick, I want to talk about increasing your range. So increasing your range is really easy. We talked a little bit a while ago about how sometimes we feel like we don't want to sing in the key, the original key, because it's too low, or too high, too low, whatever. It's not in our range. You guys have my aerobic CD. Is that correct? Okay. So let me just encourage you that whenever you're doing any of those exercises, and let me encourage you to do them, and we'll do some, when we're one-on-one, we may do a couple that's not on there or whatever, and if we do, we can record it or whatever, and I can send it to you. But when we do the exercises, or when you do those exercises, the range of those exercises is very large, all right, because it's just kind of encompassing every vocal range. So when you do those exercises, try to remember where you were when it was the lowest you can go, and where you were when it's the highest it can go. You could either count, if you don't know, like C, D, E, F, G, if you don't know the notes, that's okay. Just count how many times you went up to where it was a stretch. And then do the same thing going down. And then whenever you're wanting to when you're working on stretching your range, wherever it was, let's say you could go up 10 steps. Let's try to go up to the 11th step, but don't strain your voice, all right? Always be careful not to strain your voice. Do the same thing going down. And that's how, a lot of people will ask me, how do you extend your range? Well, I say, well, let's play like this right here is the very lowest that I can go. Ah, that's my lowest note. And so then I'm going to see if I can hit this note, and if I can, then I'll go ah, and then I'll just kind of hang out there for a day or two. Ah, and I'll do the next one up, and then I'll go back down, and then I'll go to the one that was the very lowest, and I'll just kind of stay there for a couple of days while I'm practicing, just so I can make sure that I got that note. But if I keep trying to stretch my range and hurt my voice, then that's not going to be beneficial, okay? So increasing your range, do it that way when you got the vocal exercises, okay? All right, so what I would like to kind of spend the rest of our time on right now, because whenever we get together next week, one-on-one, I want to try to work on, your individual voice, okay? When we get together the next time, we're going to try to maybe work on some songs and how we can sing them better and how we can sound. So I may not get a chance to talk about vocal health. And I just want to kind of go through that. And if how many of you have, well, just tell me this so I know how much to cover, I guess. How many of you have heard me talk about vocal health before? Yes? Okay. So I think that did all of y'all go to the worship workshop? All right, well, I was going to say, last year I think I did a segment on that, but this year it was different. It was like a boot camp, so I didn't really wasn't able to really get into this. So I didn't know how much that we've been together in talking about vocal health. So vocal health is really, really important, and we don't think about it so much because you know, we just kind of, it's our voice, and our speaking voice and our singing voice, it's really the same. You know, I mean, the singing voice has a tune, you know, it goes up and down, and our speaking voice kind of does too, but not quite so much. But we speak more than we sing, pretty much, all right? So it's important that we use the same techniques while we're speaking as we do when we're singing. All right, you breathe from your diaphragm, you support your tone, so it's you place it in the front of your face, you know, with that nice resonant sound in your speaking voice. And so I became pretty passionate about vocal health when several years ago I got a nodule on my vocal cord, and a nodule is like if you have a corn on your toe. You know what a corn on your toe is, everyone kind of like, or you've heard about it. I've never had one, but I've heard of them. Okay, it's like a little bump, a little callus. How about that, a callus? And it'll get on your vocal cords, and your vocal cords is shaped like this, two thin bands. So if a callus is on your vocal cords, then your vocal cords are pretty much one of the most delicate organs in your body. Okay, it's just, they're really thin and real delicate, and so if there's a corn or a sore on it, then it just gets agitated and irritated, and every time you phonate or make a sound, then it kind of slaps your cords together, and that corn or that vocal nodule is irritated. And so I had one of those one time. And it wasn't necessarily my singing voice. I was taking voice lessons at the time, and my voice teacher, I ended up taking speech therapy too, because they decided that it was my speaking voice. Because what I would do, I would talk really low like this, and I just talk and talk and talk and talk, and I wouldn't take no breath, and I blah, 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 you know, I just like talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And so it's like I wasn't supporting my speaking voice, and I was speaking in the wrong range. I was speaking too low for the way I was supposed to speak, okay? So let's do this really fun thing right here. Let's say, I'm going to count to 1, 2, 3, and you're going to say ning, okay? And you're not going to, try not to sing it on a pitch. N-I-N-G, N-I-N-G. Okay, yeah, I try not to like drawl it out, you know, like I do down here in Georgia with all my words. I make about 3 syllables out of every 1 syllable word, you know, because I'm just us. So I did it quickly because I didn't want you to hear that pitch, because I want you to have your own pitch. Because when you get to the last NG, okay, this is a little tricky in a setting with singers, you know, because we like to match each other's pitch. But when you get to the last NG, that's where your speaking tone would be. So if you go ning, then that's where you want to be, you know. And what I want you to do is I want you to go N-I-N-G, and then you're going to hang on to that last pitch. You might want to close your ears so you don't hear everybody else, you know, their pitches. But close your ears and say, hi, my name is, and say what your name is, and see if that feels like your regular speaking voice, okay? So you're going to say N-I-N-G. When you get to the N-G, you're going to talk, you're going to tell me about yourself. I'm Sherry, and I live in Indiana, and I love Miss Joy Joy because she's just so crazy. No, I'm just kidding. Just say what you want to say. Yeah, okay. So here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, do it one more time. Do it one more time. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, who got it? Did anybody like feel like your voice is different than it normally is? Ish? Okay, so for me, I had to pitch my voice up. Okay, just had to pitch it up just a little bit and speak just a little bit higher than what I was doing. So anyway, very long story short, the Lord healed me, completely healed me. And typically, you have to have surgery if you have a nodule, but praise God, it was a miracle, truly. And if we ever get time to talk about it, I'll tell you about it, but we're running out of time. And so that's kind of what put me on the journey of the vocal health in trying to help people learn how to sing properly, take care of your voice. So we've talked about vocal exercises and how important they are. And when I had my issue with my voice, I was supposed to be, the only sound that I could make was to do my voice lessons and to do my speech therapy, and anything else I couldn't talk. I was on total and complete vocal rest. So when I would get up in the morning, I would do my vocal exercises and I would do my speech therapy, which was basically when we found that tone, like my tone was supposed to be like a C or a D up here, you know, middle C right here. And so I would have to read on that tone to try to get my voice up in where it's supposed to be. And so very, very, very important. And anyway, I'll stop right there with all that story. But just to say that vocal exercises are really, really important. And so then it kind of put me on a journey to like see what are the vocal abuses that we sometimes do that we don't think about. And one is screaming or whispering. So like if you scream at your children or scream at your husband or scream at your wife, don't do that. It's a bad thing for your voice. Yes. So because what it does, it slaps your vocal cords together when you're screaming, but when you're whispering, you're straining for people to hear you. Right? Okay, so like if you have laryngitis, we think, oh, well, I'll just whisper. But if you whisper, then you're like, I'm trying to get you to hear me all the way from Georgia to Indiana when I'm whispering. Can't we? And that just doesn't work. You put more strain on your throat. All right. Another thing is like if you sing incorrectly for too long, you know, while we're trying to learn the vocal techniques and we're trying to sing better. If you do that, if you kind of go back to your old ways and you start trying to sing from your throat and you don't support your tone and you do that for way too long. How many of you sometimes, and we all do this, lose our voice when we're singing for a very, very long time? So I have a quick little testimony about this, and it has to do with vocal exercises. I remember one time I was, I'd gone to my husband to his mom's, and we were going to their church on Sunday morning, and I thought, and I knew better than this, and I thought, well, they probably won't ask me to sing, you know, they'll have everything all figured out and a plan for their service. And so it was back in the day, you know, when they would call you out. Oh, Sister so-and-so's here. She can sing. Bring her on up, you know, kind of thing. So we don't do that so much anymore, you know, because we have a plan, right? I don't know. I don't know. But but anyway, so I thought, but you know what? They'll have a plan. And so I didn't warm up. I didn't vocal exercise. I didn't do anything. I just went to church. And the one reason why I didn't was because in the apartment that my mother-in-law lived in, I didn't want to do that in the apartment because the neighbors might kick her out, you know. I didn't want to go out to the car because it was too cold. And so I just didn't. I was lazy. We'll just say it like that. So when I got to church, he did ask me to sing. And I got through the first verse and the chorus. And on the second verse, I embarrassingly lost my voice. It was really embarrassing. And so I thought, I will never do that. I will never go to church. I don't care. If I know I'm not singing, I'm going to always warm up and exercise. Well, so the next week I was back in my home church. And so I vocal exercised, did voice warm-ups and did the exercises Sunday morning and did the exercises. Actually, I did them Sunday night before church too. And we sang for 2 solid hours and I didn't lose my voice at all because I warmed up. And so I'm just telling you that is so important. Okay, so another thing is that's really bad for your voice is to be, I know we don't smoke, but if you're around secondhand smoke, you know, if you're working in a situation or you're around secondhand smoke or you go to a hotel room, I'm allergic to smoke. So if I go to a hotel room and it's been smoked in, I can tell immediately because my throat just closes up. You know, so I had a student one time, a private voice student. She came in and she was hoarse every time she came in. And she was doing all the technical stuff right. She was singing right. She did her exercises. She warmed up every day. And I said, finally it hit me. I said, are you in an environment a smoking environment? And she said, yes, I am. And I said, I hate to tell you this, but you got to find a new job. You can't do this and be a singer. And sure enough, she found another job and it cleared up. So the whole secondhand smoke, and we've heard about that, we know about secondhand smoke, but just as a singer, it's really important to be really careful. When you drink cold drinks, especially not before you sing, because cold drinks will, it will make your throat tighten up. You know, it's like when you, as an athlete, if they throw cold water over their muscle, it just like tightens up. Well, that's what your throat does, because you have muscles around in your pharyngeal area. You got muscles there, and it's going to close your throat up. So always kind of drink room temperature or warm water, warm drink, whatever that would be. And you always want to be careful about clearing your throat. And sometimes we can't help the coughing, which was really kind of crazy for me, because before I went to the doctor, and I was going to say I wasn't going to say this, but it's just so crazy how this happened. I had the nodule, was diagnosed, went back and was diagnosed. It was bigger, and I was going to have surgery if I came back the next time. And right before the next time that I came back, I had this bad cold, and I was coughing, and that's one of the worst things that you can do, you know, because it just slaps your vocal cords together like that. And so I thought, oh Lord, you know, but we were in prayer meeting one morning, and my husband came in and he goes, Joy, I believe, this is the morning I was going to the doctor after I'd had that really bad cold, and I just knew that all the coughing was just, I was done. So he came in and he said, Joy, I believe the Lord's healed you. And I said, I just felt that too. When I went to the doctor, sure enough, I was healed totally. You know, but the whole coughing thing, yes, and praise God, I'm just so thankful. But the coughing and clearing your throat, during the time that I had that nodule, when I would go to my voice teacher and I would have all this phlegm in my throat, and I would go to try to go clear it. She'd go, no, drink water, drink water. And I would drink water, and immediately it was gone. I mean, it's crazy. So water is crazy important for you to drink, especially when you're like phlegmy, or when you got sore throat or anything like that, or all the time. Like all the time, every day, all the time, water. I can't say water is, you know, we've heard this, you know, water is so important for your body, but especially as a singer, okay? And it's important that you get good sleep, and sleep will like make you sing better. It'll make you feel better. It'll make you think better. And I don't know if you're like me, I'm not a great sleeper. I have to like really work at sleeping. And I love sleep, and I know how important it is. So I'm just saying, if you're a good sleeper, then take advantage and thank God, and run around the church a couple times on Sunday and say, Lord, do this for Joy. She needs it. Because sleep is so important. Yes. All right. And your diet. Let's talk about your diet just really, really quick. Dairy it causes phlegm. Okay, so like on Sundays before you're going to sing, you want to make sure that you don't have a whole lot of dairy. I can't eat dairy at all. I have allergy to dairy. But if you're going to sing, you want to be really careful not to do cheese and milk and ice cream, because it'll cause phlegm in your voice. Now, I have a couple of friends who are singers that absolutely says that dairy does not affect them, you know, and I know that every body is different. Okay, so it might not affect you that way, but most people it does. So you want to be really careful about eating dairy and spicy foods before you sing, you know, especially fried foods, anything that's really fatty. You want to be really, really careful about doing that. You know, so let's say like on Sunday mornings, you need to have some protein before you sing. You got to get some protein. So sometimes, you know, you could like boil a couple of eggs or eat a scrambled egg or do something, get that protein in, you know, but just make sure that the whole dairy thing you stay away from. And be careful with caffeinated beverages, because caffeine has the tendency to dry you out. So if you drink caffeine, then try to, I do have a friend that's a doctor of naturopathy, and she would say, if you have to have coffee in the morning, this was just normal, this wasn't a singer, just normal. If you have to have coffee in the morning with caffeine, then if you drink 8 ounces, then drink 16 ounces of water to try to wash it out, you know. So just make sure that you drink a lot of water. Okay, and then another thing that I want to show you, and you will have this on your handout. I don't know if you can see this very good. So I didn't really call it this, because it's not really my drink, but somebody else did, and I just kind of copied and pasted it. So I'm not taking really credit for this drink, but it is called what it's called right here, because I made some modifications to it. I don't want to take credit when you ain't supposed to. You know, you ain't supposed to do that. But let me tell you really quick, this really cool story, how I kind of came to the fundamental drink, I guess you would call it. And now I think it's on the internet as like the lemonade fast or something like the cleansing fast or whatever. But several years ago, before Corbin was born, my husband, he still kind of struggles with it, but not near as bad, has really, really bad sinuses and problems. And he'd be sitting up. I think we're going to go over just a few minutes. Are y'all okay to do this? Do we need to stop? I mean, this is our hour, but are y'all good? Okay, because I really want to get, this really has helped a lot of people, and I just kind of want to get through it. I'll try to be done no later than 8:15. Is that okay? Okay, so we went to this health food store that we would always go to, and we said, Joe, you know, Tim is like, he just pours. His sinuses, when they get bad, he can be sitting up just like us right here, and he just pours. And so to fix that, he would have to lay down, and we didn't really know. We didn't like medicine. He didn't like to take medicine. We didn't have any idea. So Joe said, well, I've never prescribed this for anyone with sinus problems, but there's a cleansing fast, or it's called a lemonade fast as well. And he said, if you will do this fast, you will, I really feel like this will, wait a minute. So my husband just came in here. He heard me talking about him. And he wanted to show y'all something. Can you see? Yeah, they can see it. Isn't that sweet? Oh, yeah, a little bonus, a little puppy bonus. Yes, oh my goodness. They went outside for the first time today. They're just so cute. They're cute as pie. So anyway, so Joe said, try this. It's a 10-day fast. Basically, it's a fast, and you do the drink 3 times a day, and let's see how you do. By the 4th day, he said to me, I can breathe better than I have breathed in years. And I went on the fast with him just to be the supportive wife, you know, because I didn't have sinus problems. But what I noticed was that my voice was clear. I could sing the high notes easier. It was pretty crazy, like what happened to my voice during even those 4 days. And so I started just kind of sharing it everywhere I go, all the workshops. I had started doing vocal health workshops, you know, like I said, because the whole nodule thing, I started doing this little study about it that I'm sharing with you tonight. And so I just started sharing this with people, and they would like tell me like the next year or sometime when we would see each other or whatever, you won't believe how good this has done for my team. I had this one lady, she said, I made that recipe up every Sunday morning, a big old picture of it, and we drank it through the service every Sunday morning. And she said the difference that it's made in my team voice and is just crazy. So basically what it is you do warm water, and you do a large lemon. The recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of lemon, 8 to 10 ounces of warm water, and then 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Okay, so typically I'll just do the warm water, and I'll do 1 big lemon, and I'll do the maple syrup, and then 10 to 15 drops of cayenne pepper. But it's a tincture. It's called tincture capsicum. Can you see that good enough? I don't know if you can, but you'll get the handout, but I just want to kind of point it out to you. Okay, and it's not like the cayenne pepper the powder cayenne pepper. You don't do that that you can get at the grocery store, because it doesn't dissolve. Okay, so you want it to be liquid. Now what I've kind of deviated a little bit from that is because sometimes when I travel, I can't take lemons with me, and I don't take the maple syrup. So I'll just do water, and I'll substitute lemon for like a lemon essential oil. I don't know if any of you do oils, but like the essential oil that's food grade, then I'll do that, and that works just as good. And then I have added apple cider vinegar to it. And if I'm sick, then I'll add emergency to that whole little drink. I don't have this on your handout, but I've added emergency to that drink, cayenne pepper, the lemon and the water and the maple syrup. Sometimes if I don't have maple syrup, I'll do it without the maple syrup. You know what? It's a really cool story. Is one time I was judging a competition here in Atlanta, and there was a group that was like really, really good, and the lead singer was really, really good, but you could tell that he was having a whole lot of trouble with his voice. And so he came up to the table and he said, "What can I do for my voice?" And so I was fixing to tell him about this drink that the Lord showed me and that I've been sharing with the whole world and no one else knew, is what I thought. And this judge, I didn't think about it in terms like that, but I'm just saying now, being silly. The judge that was sitting by me said, "Well, if you do cayenne pepper and lemons and warm water," and he said honey, and which some people do use honey, but the original recipe doesn't call for honey, and honey kind of clogs my throat up, so I don't use honey, I use maple syrup. Anyway, I said, "Oh, where did you get that recipe?" He said, "From Stevie Wonder." I said, "Oh, okay, nothing new under the sun, right?" All right, so, here. So, I wanted to tell you about this too, because if you have, some people get hoarse because of reflux, and which some of us, I had never heard of that before. I didn't know that reflux causes you to be hoarse until several years ago. There was a group here that we had here in Atlanta called the Atlanta Youth Chorale, and it was an auditioned group. And so we would meet like a couple of Monday nights a month. They were from different churches, okay, so it was a community thing. And actually, they were private voice students of mine too. They kept being hoarse, and we couldn't figure it out. And so one of the girls went to the doctor, and he prescribed her, or diagnosed her as having acid reflux. And so she called a friend of hers, who's a doctor of naturopathy, and she said, "If you do this aloe vera gel and you put it with a drink, it can be juice or water, anything that any drink really, mostly juice or water. Then you do 3 ounces of 1 ounce of aloe vera gel to 3 ounces of this. 3 ounces of a liquid to 1 ounce of aloe vera gel." This says to Joy's voice drink, which you can do that on that too. But then it'll do it for 3 times a day and it'll clear it up. So I'll never forget this. She started it on a Wednesday, and she came to rehearsal on Monday after singing Sunday morning and Sunday night. And she was always hoarse when she came to our Monday night rehearsals, and she was not hoarse. It was crazy. And so the other girl that was in our group, I told her, I said, "You need to try this. Try this, what she's doing." And so she did it, and the same thing happened with her. So I don't know if any of you have acid reflux or you know of anyone that has acid reflux, but this is pretty crazy. Another thing that I just found out about, let me go right to here. This right here, okay, this was like last year. I was at a church, and I had told the pastor's wife about the little aloe story that I just told you. Well, she went to her health food store, and her nutritionist there at the health food store told her that this whole leaf aloe vera juice concentrate, and it's already made up. She says, "I've had so many singers, like professional singers, come in and buy this and drink it before they sing, and it's really helped them." So my friend, she had acid reflux. She does have acid reflux, and she's got a great voice, but she just couldn't get it out. It just wasn't working for her. So I remember I was doing like a camp meeting, they call it, kind of like a conference for them. And she said, she just found this out right before the camp meeting, and she said, I'm going to try this. And I kid you not, she drank a little bit of that before service, and her voice lasted through the whole service. So it's a miracle. I'm just telling you, it's a miracle. Holly. Sometimes I will add to that drink apple cider vinegar, you know, with the whatever you call it. What do you call it? Yeah. Yes, thank you. Another product here is lozenges. So some people like to do peppermint and menthol type lozenges. Peppermint and menthol really do dry your voice, your throat out. Okay, so it's best not to do that. If you can get these slippery lozenges, you can get them on Amazon. I would recommend to get the flavored kind because it's slippery bark, so it's bark. And the natural kind don't taste very good, and you really kind of have to use your imagination when you get the orange ones and the strawberry ones to make them taste good. But they really do work. Okay, so if you get used to them, it'll work. Okay, and really I found that they really do work a lot better than the sugar and the peppermint and the menthol. Okay, and that's especially if you're going to sing.